Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. So, there's a point where Brady is about to, as they say, fall off the wagon. And out of all people in the world, he chooses Teresa Donovan as a reason to pretty much mess up his whole sobriety. Well, Paul comes in there and, he doesn't drink or whatever, and eventually I guess without saying it, he pretty much admits, his feelings about Teresa, that it's more than just co-parenting, that I just find it so hard to believe, maybe because of the actress, that she's the one that got away. But he's like, listen, it's fine. Because Paul's like, listen, you shouldn't go to the wedding if this is how you're really feeling. He's like, no, 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 it's fine. I'm gonna sit there and do it. I'm just like, why? I'm pretty sure your son would understand. It's almost like him going to the wedding. It's like, well, if I just sit there and go to the wedding and be fine, then I can get over my feelings. I'm just like, that's not how that works. Uh, Whatever. But after talking to Maggie, and even Maggie was feeling like there was something off with him, and going through the wedding, he's just looking all hurt and sad and everything like that. And he decides to leave, saying that he's going to a meeting. Now, going with Xander and Jack have this awkward conversation, like Jack is not really there to exchange pleasantries or anything like that. He says that he's there because he thinks there's a good chance that Abigail may be alive. But he brings up the paper a couple of times as far as, you swindling it from us and everything. And part of me just kind of looks at it, and I'm like, well, at least at least your other daughter got the paper, you know? So it's, at one point, like, it was still in the family's name, at least. But Xander decides to give it back to him. And I'm just like, wait, hold on, let me get this straight. You turned away a boatload of money that you could have used for your daughter. And I get, oh, I want to sit there and, be a changed person. And I always sit there and try to go out the money and stuff like that because it always lead me down the wrong path and yada, yada, yada. I get the whole thing about growth and change. But I'm like, that money could have been for your daughter, if nothing else. But he was all like, oh, I want to sit there and have an honest living. And now he's just like, I lost my best friend in the process. And I get that part. But I'm like, bro, you about to get married, right? You about to get married. What are you going to sit there and you going to present her with a wedding gift of unemployment? Like, I don't really understand. Even Jack is just like, well, what are you going to do for money? Oh, that's fine. I'll figure something out. It's not like my doctor isn't a. I mean, it's not like my wife isn't a doctor or anything like that. I was like, yeah, that's true, but two incomes is better than one income. Just saying. Um, but he practically wishes good luck on his marriage and everything. Um, because when he left, they really left on bad terms, and I genuinely did enjoy their friendship. Like, I'm not into the whole couples, and it's not my thing. But I do like a good friendship, though. And so it was kind of sucked that they kind of ended on bad terms. Now, Alex and Justin are still acting like a pair of jackasses, okay? Because Justin, I get that you are hurt, and you're angry about this whole thing. Maybe this isn't the day to sit there and start to explain it. And I get it, Alex having all this admiration for Victor and being like, oh, my father would want this. I'm like, bro, I mean, I don't know how much time he actually spent with him, but it's like, you making it seem like the way you talk about him is like you've known him and he was really close to you his whole life, and that simply wasn't the case. Hell, he knew about your existence, and he didn't even claim you. The only thing he left you was a boatload of money, and now you just have this admiration out of nowhere. Like it just comes across as just like, what are we doing? And in a lot of ways, kind of disrespectful to the man who did raise you as a son. Even in your mind, you don't think that that's the case, and constantly throwing in his face, oh, well, we're not father and son, and this, that, and the third. Just act like a complete jackass, an asshole. Now, Sonny comes in, they calm down for a little bit, and, Justin Smith tells Sonny, I'm having a hard time with this whole thing, and, eventually Alex comes back, he apologizes, and he's like, oh, well, I would still like you, I'd be lucky to sit and have you marry us if you still want to do that. And so he agrees. And I did just kind of stand there, just like, bro, we both know that Justin's going to be doing this. We both know. I mean, yes, technically Maggie could sit there and marry them both, but like, now, at the body was not just saying to Sarah, hey, I know, people got in, Xander got in your head, and Sarah's like, no, I didn't throw it in the garbage. And everyone's just saying, well, I didn't throw it in the garbage, and Bonnie's like, well, if you didn't throw it in the garbage, and I didn't throw it in the garbage, that only leaves, and Teresa's like, yeah, I did it. Well, she said she was, and my whole thing was like, why did you admit to that? You could have simply sat there and said, no, I didn't do it. I mean, no one saw you do it. But she admits that, and Sarah's pissed off or whatever. But eventually, it's time for them to get ready to the wedding. And after Andrew, Rome, and Stephanie catch up, eventually Andrew goes to um, Teresa. When he walks in, he's like, oh, he sees baby Victoria. He's like, oh, you mean the baby that you stole? You mean that baby? And basically, he was like, I don't feel good about this. As long as you're just going on a straight and narrow, fine. But so everyone meets up. Well, Leo's not happy that Xander isn't going to be his boss anymore because he's worried about his job. But Jack is Jack. I mean, his numbers are doing good. People are interested. So I don't think that Jack is going to fire him business wise. Um, there's this awkward scene between. It's kind of funny, but it's kind of awkward between Leo, Sonny, Andrew, and Paul. Which, by the way, I'm just gonna. I know this has nothing to do with the review, but it was so good to see Paul again. Though. I don't know. Somehow Paul just really impressed me after Beyonce album, and I'm just like, I, I would have traded Paul in a heartbeat for Wendy. In a heartbeat for Wendy. Um, but eventually, Paul and Andrew and Leo and Sonny all meet up or whatever. Doesn't really go anywhere. It's just kind of one of those scenes that they have to spread out the time because it's a 41-minute episode. So yeah, after Teresa and Alex get married, then it's Sarah's and Xander's turn. But by the way, I'm just wondering how that conversation is going to go when Xander's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I gave the paper back to Jack, but don't worry, I'll come up with something." Because remember the last time he was trying to come up with something, X, Y, and Z happened, aka clown mask and all. They start the wedding and everything like that, and then it gets interrupted by Xander's mom. Um, the whole time, Teresa is just like she's hoping that she does not show up. So when she saw her, this chick looked like she was about to start getting ready to sweat bullets at that point. I knew that first marriage was going to go through, because now that Xander's mom is actually there, it's going to take some time before she, like they're gonna draw it out. I didn't think that everything was going to be revealed in the wedding, as far as before they got married. When it made sense. But is Sarah and Xander still going to get married? That is the question. That's right. Xander's mom is there. So, and accent and all, I love it. I love it. There's something about a an accent that I just, yeah. Anyway, I feel like that's about it. This episode was okay for the most part. It wasn't super great, but it wasn't actually terrible either for a wedding episode. I gotta sit there and give them their props, because usually they're, they're just bad. And the only thing that's actually supposed to be good is the wedding. So if you don't even like wedding parts, then yeah. But this episode was actually decent enough. I'm looking forward to next week. Anyway, I feel like that's about it, but there's probably always more. So come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll sit there and talk about all the shows. General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, Bold and Beautiful, Young and Restless. With that being said, I'm going to go. I'll see you in the next video.